Caroline Glick, the former assistant foreign policy advisor to Benjamin Netanyahu. Caroline, welcome.
Thanks so much for having me on your program, Katie. Good morning.
I wish you were here under different circumstances. What's your reaction to Hamas releasing that video of Hersh Goldberg Poland in captivity while that family is still sitting Shiva?
Well, Hamas released videos of the 6 hostages that it executed last week after executing them as part of a psychological warfare program. So it wasn't just Hersh Goldberg, it was the other ones as well, who are Israeli citizens and not dual citizens. This is a means to try to tear apart Israeli society, place pressure on our leaders to cut a deal that would allow Hamas to survive and win this war. And so I'm not surprised that they did this. Other families have also allowed parts or entire films, parts of the films or the films of their loved ones who were filmed before they were murdered. It also shows that these murders were pre-planned. I mean, they were executed as a form of stagecraft. First, they taped them, and then they murdered them. And so we learned a lot, not that we didn't know, but it reminded us of the barbarism of Hamas. It reminded us of just how cunning they are in their psychological warfare, that it's a component part of their doctrine to bring Israel to its knees and to polarize global opinion, to make people turn against Israel. They've been doing this the entire time, claiming that they're starving. And we have to remember that Eden Yerushalmi, one of the hostages who was executed, when we recovered her body in Gaza, this young woman who's 25 years old weighed 79 pounds. Okay, she had been deliberately starved to death, just like all of the rest of them. The only people starving in Gaza are the Jewish hostages being held by Hamas. And what they do with these hostage videos is they play on our nerves to try to unwind our society, to unravel our solidarity as a society, to force us to capitulate to them. And luckily, JNS, where I work, we did a poll this week that showed that public opinion is firmly against Hamas and supports Prime Minister Netanyahu in his tough negotiations with Hamas, and continues to seek victory in this war, and will not blink and will not stand down until we achieve that aim.
I think it is so generous and selfless of these families to release a video that must be unbelievably painful for them to see. But it's important, right? I mean, because we're fighting this battle of propaganda, not just overseas, but here in the United States and right here in New York City. Are you at all optimistic that this will somehow break through to people and make them understand that Hamas does not care for any human life and is an evil organization by definition?
I don't know. I mean, I think that the only people right now who have to remember this are the Biden administration officials. Like, for instance, as Daniel Cohen said in his report, Ambassador Jack Lew, Secretary of State Tony Blinken, and the president himself, who think that it's going to be possible to reach a deal with Hamas, or even reach a deal towards what they call the two-state solution, which would establish a Palestinian terrorist state west of the Jordan River on land that Israel both has a claim to and requires for its national survival. And it's like nothing will push them away from that vector, even though it's been proven that this is just a recipe, as we saw with Gaza. They had a Palestinian state there for 19 years until they invaded Israel.
Yeah,
and they used it in order to build it into Afghanistan on the edge of Israel, and they invaded and they carried out a one-day Holocaust. It's obvious that that's what will continue to happen so long as, or if you provide them with control over territory. So I think the most important people who have to wake up right now aren't the people with Hamas flags in the streets of New York City. They should be arrested for providing material support for a terrorist organization. But the Biden administration has to realize you can't negotiate with murderers. You can't. You can only defeat them, and they should be making it clear. And they should make it American policy to side with Israel and enable us, allow us, permit us, which is that something they haven't done this entire time, to simply end this war in victory by destroying Hamas. It's the only way we're going to get the hostages home is by defeating Hamas.